Welcome, people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are starting out here on a new day here. We are Saturday afternoon and getting ready to have us a good old show. I'll be talking about some real serious stuff here in just a few minutes.
Well, what I have here is once and for all.
Welcome to the TED Ed Podcast, where we delve into the issues that shape our daily lives and drive our productivity. We confront topics that matter deeply to all of us, from healthcare and affirmative action to voting rights and monetary success and failure. We cover it all. And yes, we dive into the complex world of politics, exploring how our country has evolved from slavery to the 21st century. Our content is crafted with care and expertise, drawing from years of experience in these critical areas. We invite you to give the TED Ed podcast a listen. You won't be disappointed. Share your thoughts with friends and confidants, and don't forget to like, comment, and share our episodes. Your engagement helps us grow and reach more listeners. Are you passionate about these topics? Do you have unique insights to share? You could be one of our guest speakers. Drop us a line, send an email, or leave a comment. All requests will be considered. Join us on this journey of exploration and understanding. This is the TED Ed Podcast. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Okay, people, we started out here. Ted got some stuff going on here.
Yes, what the hell are you talking about?
You got some stuff here. We got some stuff here. You got to go ahead, man. Say what you got to say.
Well, let me just say this, and this is no knock on nobody, but it's just when I was looking at that Saudi Arabia stuff and the region and that whole area, and they got money, bro, plenty of money, and they got power, and they got a religion, but their religion is divided because they got all kinds of sects in that Muslim faith. However, they are in agreement as far as coming after Israel. Well, I ran across this lady when I was doing my research. And I've seen her before, but I never listened to her. So I listened to her talk. Her name is Anwa or Anna Yana Hersey Ali. She runs a nonprofit organization called ARC, Alliance, and I didn't write the whole thing down, conference. It's Reliance and for Citizens. And she's about citizenry all across the world. And she went on and said that they have taken over, when I say they, I'm talking about these Muslim people, have taken over so many parts of the world. And they're coming after America. They're not doing it violently, they're just bringing in their religion, building their mosques, and doing Sharia law in certain parts of the country, which they are, and which we are a free country, but at the same time, everybody is free. Sharia law don't give you freedom. So right now, there are people that's higher up and this is on both sides, like conservative and liberal and all that. There are people that right now that's trying to think what they're going to do about this, because at the same time, in a certain degree, these Christian nationalists are about a certain, I would say, similarity of Sharia law. So she was talking about how the different situations when the students were protesting, and a lot of those people were instigating and trying to do that. And we figured that out already. We knew that that was happening. You had paid people that was going in to cause all of that disruption, and coming against the Jewish students. And you had Jewish people that was coming against protesting. They were just, most of them was peacefully protesting. But a lot of those people were actually physically trying to do damage, cause an upheaval. Well, the conversation with her organization, she had over 1,000 people in this conference. And people are aware that when you have over 1.23 billion Muslims, and you have over 1 billion in Catholics, and so right now there is a religious war, but it's not showing as a religious war. They're showing it as a political war, a ideology war. This is what they're showing. You have people that's talking about Marxism. You have people talking about communism. You got people talking about socialism. You got people talking about all of these different isms. And fascism is the number one thing. And some people even think that this country right now is fascist. So, because one person's got all the power, he's untouchable. And I'll say this again, he's untouchable. So he does almost anything he wants to do. While our country is being taken over religiously, you have your Christian, so-called conservative Christian white nationalists, and then you have the Muslims, and you have the Catholics, and it's a religious war. Now, most Indian people from India, they're Hindu, and they're a very strong religious sect. And we got quite a few people from India and Pakistan and all of that. But most of the people in Pakistan are Muslim. So while we're tripling over these little culture wars, and that's the media talking, with a few trends that's in sports and, and all of that. These people are moving religiously. And it's going to cause a problem, because, see, they use that, they hide under conservatism and liberal and left and right, but really it's a religious war in this country. That's what it is. Now, that's just my opinion. I think it's a religious war that's going on right now. And the only reason why it hasn't came out to fruition, or don't nobody want to bring it up. People are bringing it up, but it's not being brought up in the news media. Because the real law is for real. They've been talking about that for 20 years or more. Certain parts of this country, these people practice that because of their religion.
Mm.
It's a serious thing here. I know I'm living in the Tampa area, and I can tell you right now, there's a number of mosques that's been built in the last 10 years right around here. Now, is that designed on purpose? If you pay enough people, these politicians, enough money, hey, they'll let you do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And, the one thing that their goal is to destroy the so-called religion of the Christians. And then a lot of them are in war with themselves because you have different types of what they said, the Shiites and the Sunnis and all of that. So no one really wants to talk about it, but it's here. All of it is right here now in this country because they have brought enough foreign people allow enough foreign people to come here to do that kind of chaos. The difference between us and them, my belief, is that we're more modern than their countries. Some of their countries, some of their countries are very modern, their cities, but then they can't get into, and some of them want to come here to make a lot of money. There's more money here. More opportunities
That's usually what most of them come here for. Even the undocumented immigrants coming from across the Mexican border, they come here to make some money.
But like I say, most of it, a lot of it is because they want to take over.
Yeah.
Politically, because they are allowing these people to run for office and be police officers, all of that. And they're Americans. They've been here for, a few years.
Well, I see uh, big, big change and stuff that is going on here in our country here. A huge change. Uh, I usually spend about an hour or so looking at different things and stuff on the internet that we can be talking about on the show. And uh, man, I see so much stuff here and everything on there because I usually try to go and find uh, these news outlets and stuff that come in China, news outlet that comes from Europe, and all of that. And everybody has a different viewpoint and stuff as far as this country is concerned. I don't know if they look at it as a fascist company. Most of them, if you look at the folks coming from Canada, they look at us right now as having an authoritarian government and stuff here, where one person does have the authority, but he doesn't have complete authority and stuff and everything because you still got the Congress there and you still got the judiciary branch there that's kind of holding him back. And they're not letting him have ultimate control of what's going on. As we can see and stuff now with this budget crisis and stuff that's going on, or what they call the reconciliation budget that they're trying to get through the House. Um, they having some difficult times and stuff getting uh, these Republicans and stuff to come in on the same accord. Now, those other budget items earlier, and they went ahead and passed the House and all of that. Those were preliminary budgets. They wasn't the actual budget that they were looking for. They were just putting some things together so the Senate can have the information so they can start working on what they call a reconciliation and stuff, where they don't have to have a they don't have that the filibuster in the Senate does not stop them from passing their budget. So they're trying to come to some kind of conclusion in the House that they can send this budget to the Senate, and all they need is a simple majority to pass it. but they're having a difficult time and stuff meeting their narrow parameters and stuff of the budget and everything because of the Senate parliamentarian. Well, so far, the Senate parliamentarian hasn't said a whole lot about that budget that's coming over there, that will be coming over to the Senate, because I do believe that they're probably going to force some of those folks who were in opposition in the Republican Party now to pass that thing out of the Budget Committee and then hit the floor of the House, and then they'll probably go ahead and pass that daggone thing. But something happened though, Ted, um, today. Well, or either today or yesterday. Moody downgraded our credit rating.
Yep.
They downgraded our credit rating, which really is a bad move. And for people out there who don't understand how your credit rating and stuff down, let's look at it this way: as you were a individual, you can get a FICO score of 800 or 850 and everything, and you got almost perfect credit. And anything below that 800 number and everything, there's a downgrade in your credit rating. Well, with the businesses and stuff and everything, they got and governments, they got that AAA rating, which is probably the best one. And then if you get down to that double A and a little plus there and everything, then that means that the cost of borrowing and stuff for the country and everything becomes a little bit more expensive. So with Moody downgrading our credit rating and everything, because they believe that with this budget that is coming through the House, it is going to send our debt out of sight, just like we've been talking about for the last month or so. If they keep going the way it is, they're going to add another $4 or $5 trillion and everything to that $37 trillion that we are already in debt, which is a bad thing for our country. So I don't know if this thing is going on with Moody going to stop these Republicans, but any little bit that we can get to stop them from passing this daggone budget will help, because it is going to send our debt and stuff, everything completely out of sight. And there's no way that we're going to be able to sustain that when you're spending what 6 or 7% of your GDP and stuff and paying your debt. That is a big load, especially for us, and because we spend a whole heck of a lot of money. We got a lot of programs out there, and they're talking about cutting out Medicaid and all this other stuff, but they're saying, "Oh, we're gonna make it just a little bit better, and we're just gonna redo it a little bit and everything." They are telling a damn lie. They're gonna cut out some of these people from being on Medicaid. They are going to wreck that Medicaid program. They are going to wreck our food stamp program. It's I mean, devastating cuts. But the only thing that we don't hear about is that military. Why in the hell aren't they cutting that daggone thing out? They're increasing that damn thing to over $1 trillion. They're not even talked about it. We're going to cut Medicaid. We're going to cut food stamps.
Hey, that ain't even counting over the $500 billion or pretty close to another trillion to the military for retirement and all that, and then for veterans and all that.
Oh
That
yeah,
trillion is not included in that, in all of those other little benefits that the
yeah.
veterans get.
They're cutting the VA program, but they're not
Yeah, they're
talking
trying to
about
cut
that.
it.
They're not
They're
talking
trying to
about it.
cut it.
Yeah, they're not talking about it, but they are planning on cutting it because they've already gotten rid of somewhat 80,000 employees and stuff in the VA. If you ain't got no employees, you might as well say you cutting the VA budget, because those people are needed to help take care of the veterans. So hey, we got a mess going on out here. But
It's a big mess, and the thing is that the news people are not reporting it.
no, nobody's saying a whole lot about it. And you notice that with Trump, he's on the news cycle every damn day. I don't give a crap what time you open up your news cycle. His name is somewhere out there, and he's been ever since he came down those stairs in 2016 to run for the the presidential thing, he's been getting free press and stuff all the way up until now. And that's almost what uh, damn near 9 years and stuff. He's been getting free press. I mean, constant daily press, constant daily press. So he keeps bull crap going on. Now he got this daggone this damn plane shit that he wanted to get him they Qatar then gave him a $400 million plane. Now he knows that he ain't gonna get that damn plane, but he creates controversy to keep people from looking at him stealing. He puts the plane out there. He knows the news cycle gonna hit that daggone plane. They're gonna be all on this daggone plane. But he's sitting over there in Qatar and Saudi Arabia and going into Syria and stuff, doing all this big thing. But he, his main thing is he over there stealing. He making sure that his family is making some money. I mean, big money that they get. So, but nobody's saying anything about it. They keep keeping them quiet because they got their mind on that plane. He can't get that plane. By the time he get done, he get ripping off these folks and stuff. By the time his 4 years is up, he can buy 10 of them damn planes and stuff, and they still wouldn't hurt his budget. So
yeah, you can buy 10 of them right now.
yeah,
He got about $3 billion.
Man, him and his family over there ripping us off, man. So a lot of times and then you see he just came back and everything, and he's getting on his social media page and everything, and he's talking about Bruce Springsteen and Taylor Swift. They ain't nothing. They ain't people are constantly sitting over there. Well, yeah, leave Bruce Springsteen alone. People, it's a smokescreen. He don't want you guys to see exactly what the hell he is doing. He does not want you to see what he is doing. That he is ripping people off and he's taking money from anywhere he go, because everybody looked at Taylor Swift did her tour and stuff out there, and that white chick and already then brought in about $2.5 billion and stuff just on that daggone tour. They messing with Bruce Springsteen. He ain't. He's over there talking about the president in foreign countries. Bruce Springsteen got all the money he wants. People listening to him. They in the crowds talking crap, everything. He ain't hurting them. He just pulling up some bull crap. So watch what he's trying to hide. That's what we need to keep our eyes on. And keep our eyes on this daggone budget, what these Republicans and stuff are trying to pass and stuff through the House. Are they gonna send our debt sky high? Because once the government starts paying more to get funds, all that stuff does is trickle down to us who are sitting down here on the bottom, and our cost of borrowing and everything goes up too. It goes up real high. You can't buy a car, you can't buy a furniture or whatever you want to do, or go out there and get a mortgage and stuff on your house. All of that it is caused by what the government pays to get money, and everybody below that and everything is affected by it. So look out, people. Look out. If they pass this budget, it's going to look bad for the people on Medicaid, but it's also going to look bad for all of us who will sit down this budget. It's going to send our borrowing costs out of sight, because it's going to be a mess. And even now, if you look at people out there who are borrowing money, you can't. Heck, the home mortgage and stuff and everything right now for most people is about 7%, maybe more than that, depending on your credit rating, to borrow money to buy a house. Most of us can't afford that. Most of us cannot afford that 7% mortgage. We can't. Matter of fact, most of us can't even buy a home. We out. unless you go down there to Florida where Ted's at and they're giving away houses.
Hey, they going down, bro.
Amen. Go ahead. So, hey, man, this is something else. I was listening to Anthony Scaramucci.
I like him.
He got a podcast going on with some lady. I forget her name and stuff, but she's out of Great Britain or somewhere. And he was commenting about one of the speeches that Trump had made over there in the Middle East. And he said that he agreed and stuff with some of the things that Trump has said. That we, as our country, United States, have invested trillions of dollars and stuff into the Middle East. And all that money has been thrown away because it's still a mess over there. So he is telling the people in the Middle East and stuff that United States is going to stay out of their mess. You're going to just let them, whatever they want to do over there, let them do it. We're going to stay away. Is that a good thing? Or is that a bad thing? Stay out of it.
Well, if you think about it, we spent over, and we talked about this yesterday, $8 trillion for sure, $6 trillion in Afghanistan, and $2 trillion in Iraq.
All right.
And then another $2 trillion as far as all the monies that were spent on the wounded. And then, all the deaths and all that. So a good $10 trillion we spent on those two wars. Now, there was a lot of waste, a lot of overcharging and all of that. We know that. A lot of money, a lot of people made a lot of money off the wars. However, their goal, the main goal was try to democratize the Middle East. That was their goal. To try to modernize and democratize the Middle East, besides captivating and taking over, monetizing their oil. They know they couldn't touch Saudi Arabia's oil, but they tried to get all the other stuff in these other countries, those two countries, because they got plenty of minerals and oil and gas.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, it's dangerous trying to mine that stuff. Those corporations tried to go over there, and they gave them a lot of money too. It don't cost no $1 billion to build no. They spent $1 billion building all kinds of buildings and paying all kind of money for a gas station. I think it was almost $2, $3, $4 billion for that. All kind of stuff. They were just paying salaries of these military people, training them, sending officers over there, risking their life, training these people so they can fight for their country. But
what have we got from it? Some oil, probably. Got the oil, bring over here.
Some people made some money.
Yeah, they made some money. They got some oil. We got some oil over here to make sure our cars stay running.
The country didn't get anything, but it was a lot of individuals got a lot of money. They was able to invest that money and start investing and building all kinds of condominiums and homes. Those homes, that money just don't come out of nowhere. The people got money. And they got billions of dollars. Some people got billions of dollars and was able to become rich because they was working for the government and they was running. You had free what they call mercenaries from America that was over there making money. And you know that they was charging them probably, who knows, $100,000 a day for each man. Because
So we
it wasn't the military that was protecting these dignitaries, it was the mercenaries.
so what we can say, since there is a realignment going on, because as we can look around the world, there is a complete realignment going on. We trying to take us out of NATO. He's forcing European countries and stuff, plus Canada, to increase their military budget, so we don't have to pay any more for their military protection. Canada has already started adding more to their military budget. You see, Germany have already started adding to their military budget. The United Kingdom has already started adding money to their military budget.
Well, you
France,
know
you know,
what that ain't nothing new. President Obama was doing the same thing. He
well,
was he increased it. I think they were doing. Some of them weren't even paying nothing at all, and some
right,
was
but
only
they
paying 2%.
they are increasing their budget, and we're getting ready to get the hell out of the NATO. We are not. You pulling us out. We are not in that thing.
Well, that is not a good
The
thing. And
the G7 or G8 and everything. I don't even think that they invited the United States over there for it. They took them completely out. The United States said we're not going to even join that thing. So I don't know. And then to have him to uh like we said the other day, in the last two daggone things, Israel is the stepchild now. I guess she's been totally avoided, and something that Saudi Arabia wanted to happen, us to stop funding Israel.
Iraq too.
Yep,
Well,
yep. Well,
the
and then
thing is that
he's talking
Bibi
about
is out of
cutting.
control.
Yeah, he's talking about taking away all the control, all the sanctions and stuff off of Iran now. Hey, remove the sanctions. They're not working. So
Well, see, the one thing that he don't understand, and maybe people are consulting or giving him advice, but one thing he don't understand, this is a religious thing going on. He think it's a business thing. These people don't. A lot of these people don't care about money. They don't care about money. This is a religious thing going on. He think it's about money, but this is a religious thing going on. That's the reason why they're laughing at him, because this is religion. They hate the Jewish population, and then but the thing is that they don't even get along with each other. All these different sects. I mean, you got like a half a dozen different sects or more that's they're classified as Muslims, and they call themselves Muslims, but they're different types of Muslims.
so has been a realignment in the world. Things are changing, and they're changing because Trump wants to consider money instead of politics over there, or religion.
Well, it's been changing. They've been changing this thing for years now, because when we left, Afghanistan and Iraq and all that, we still got soldiers over there. I mean, just a few, stationed. But the point is that I think that they've been aligning themselves as far as that goes, for a long time, for the last 10 years, because over 100,000 Iraqis were killed. And I don't know how many Afghanistans. It might have been close to 25 to 50,000 of those. And now you got this Gaza thing, and a lot of these people, all the papers is what they're saying is that all these other countries are not allowing will not allow the Palestinians to move to other countries. So they don't even want to accept them. So I'm gonna change gears here, bro.
You're gonna do what?
I'm gonna change gears here, right quick.
Okay, I figured you would because I wanted to also, but go ahead.
But so I ran across my main man, Thomas Sowell.
Who?
Thomas Sowell.
Okay.
You know him? He's been around for 50, 60 years. He is a conservative and he works for a think tank. And he's a professor at a major university, Stanford. I think he's retired from that now because he's like 90 something years old now. But every once in a while, he'll show his face and start talking. And through the years, he's got worse and worse. This is what you call one of your bootlickers. Dog black people like we ain't shit. That's what he does. Black people ain't shit. That's what he says, basically. Because we're not a meritocracy. We're not a meritocracy. We don't get it on merit. We get it on identity politics. He talked about Crockett feverishly. All she want to talk about is identity politics. The reason why she's in office because she's black. And here's my beef with him. He done wrote about a dozen books and several on slavery. His big thing is because we had slavery all over the world since the late 1200s, 1400s, and all kinds of people around the world was enslaved, which wasn't the kind of slavery that America had. But he would talk about all these other countries that were enslaved people. He even talked about the Aztecs and all of that, and how they enslaved people and all that. But not one time, or I should say very little time he spent on talking about American slavery. Because that's what we're talking about. You are an American. We're not talking about what they did back in the 1400s, 15 and 16 and 1700s. European had slaves and all that. They cut their slavery out way before we did in America. We fought a civil war over slavery. At least that was one of the reasons why. And here he is saying that he don't realize that when you start a race, it should be everybody started the same line. Well, that's not what has happened. We are supposed to be a free people. Black people are supposed to be free. But yet still, we're still living in the vintages of all the slavery that's going on, all the discrimination that's going on, all the racism that's going on, all the setbacks. Now, one time did he talk about Reconstruction and what happened then when Reconstruction happened and all those hundreds of towns that were black towns that were burnt. Not one time did he talk about the 1920s when we had all kinds of race riots. But yet still, we're supposed to have meritocracy. You know, we're supposed to pull up ourselves by our own bootstraps. A lot of times, the reason why there were riots is because we was trying to get jobs. We were trying to get in the trade unions, and that's where the jobs were. The trade union was at one time back in the 40s. It was over 30-something% of the people that were in trades, that was in unions, and we were trying to get some of those jobs, and we were entitled to them. Because we use some of their products, we should be able to work. That's why all of those different laws changed for Black people. That's what Black people fought for. Because they were being discriminated against. You come in there and you put in your application just like everybody else, and you qualify, and what happens? They just throw it in the garbage. They don't even give you an interview. Unless you was an exceptional Black person. It ain't too many people like that. I'm talking about white or Black. Exceptional. But your average Joe, mediocre white boy, got a job. How come somebody mediocre Black boy couldn't get a job? Just like them. Get trained, learn how to do the job, and do the best he can. That's the problem. And he's sitting up here and he talking about, after slavery, they just let us go. Only a very few people got 40 acres and a mule. And there was over 3 million of Black people that was freed. A lot of people didn't have shoes on their feet. And then they treated Black people like dogs. I mean, basically worse than dogs, really, because then they had to do sharecropping. They didn't even give them real money.
So this guy
he's gonna sit up here and he gonna talk that crap talking about meritocracy. Come on, bro. What are you talking about? That woman got a law degree. She practiced law for years. She became a state representative. Then she became a congressperson. But yet still, you didn't say nothing about cronyism. You didn't say nothing about favoritism. You didn't say nothing about that. You didn't say nothing about when your grandfather comes in and he went to this school, then you automatically get in. We didn't have all of that. Hell, my parents barely got through grade school or high school. He a joke, man. That dude, and they got him like he's some kind of economic scholar. He's a joke. He's a joke. And he's been a joke. He makes his money by downing Black people. That's what he make his money off of. They try to make like he's supposed to be so great and all that. The white folks all know he ain't so great. Ain't a whole lot of Black folks pushing him up. Ain't nobody talking about him like he's some big hero, because he ain't done nothing for Black people, for his own race. All he's been doing is putting us down. That's all he does. Now, are we perfect? No. I just don't get it, bro. He's 94 years old. He probably saying, the only people that's praising me is white people and a few Black people. 94 years old. He ain't got nothing to show for it. And he know it. He has spent all these years studying and writing, Ed. I done read a few of his books. He full of shit. He got cracks all on in his books.
Well, maybe his purpose
But
is just
very
to make.
persuasive, man, because he uses those $20 words. Very persuasive.
Well, maybe his purpose now is to just make money, and as long as somebody is listening to him, he's gonna continue to make money. Like some of our people doing the same thing. They putting mess out there, dragging us down. All they want to make money.
Well, that's who all of them copying off of him.
Mhm.
They copying off of him. A lot of these bootlickers are copying off of him. He's been doing it for 60 years, bro. Bootlickers. That's what they are. You know, I mean, I didn't say it, but there are people that's out there saying it, that Stephen A is a bootlicker.
Well, we got a few more minutes here, and I'm gonna throw something out here. I'm trying to figure out exactly how do we monopolize or do something about what's going on and make ourselves relevant.
We are
And
relevant.
well, what I mean by relevant and stuff is that we there's something and stuff that we can do that is going to let folks know and stuff that we're not going to continue to allow what is going on to happen. Us being uh, our our programs and stuff like Medicaid. How do we combat that? How do we get our message across? Because right now, all I'm seeing is us sitting down there looking at these folks and stuff who are in the power saying, this is what we're going to do. And there is no input from our folks. None.
Ed, Ed,
I
I've
don't see
said
it.
this, Ed, I've been saying this for 50 years. And I know that it goes in one of your ears and out of your other ear. Because when I'm talking, as far as I'm concerned, you say, hey, go on another rant, talking this bullshit. But I'm going to say it just like I mean it. Black folks make enough money to take care of every damn black person in this country. We got billionaires and millionaires that don't invest in their own damn people. They'll give a few million, and you know, this ain't no knock on them because they got their own family to take care of, and I can understand that. And they talking about accumulative wealth and inherited wealth and all that, like these white folks do. But we can't live like these white folks. That is not the issue. We have too
Well,
many things that are coming against us. You got these multi-millionaire people. We got over 20,000 people that's multi-millionaires. And all they do is invest their money in with these white folks. Some of them are invested in black folks, but for the most part, they're not, you know, hey, if you take 20,000 people, they give $1 million, that's $20 million. They can start a major corporation right there. These people don't realize, man. You know, that's what the Italians did. That's what the Vietnamese people done. That's what the Latinos people are doing. They're taking care of their own people.
So what I'm hearing from you is that the government, it doesn't matter. I believe it does. I believe it matters. It matters.
To a certain degree, yes. The government does matter because we pay taxes and we're supposed to be taxation with representation.
Absolutely. We are
Absolutely,
paying
the government
taxes
matters.
to them. And
they
are taking our tax money. They have taken our Social Security benefits and told us that we aren't entitled to all this. And that's
Medicare money. We put money in Medicare.
Medicare money. And they said that we are not entitled to that. That is a budget, but it's not. It is a program. We paid into this daggone thing. It's our shit. And they shouldn't be bothering it. That's my problem. And they're taking what we have paid into and said that we aren't, that's not our money. In essence, that's what they're saying. That's not yours. We're going to take what we want out of this to balance our budget. Just like in 84, 85, when Ronald Reagan dipped into our Social Security trust fund and took out billions of dollars to pay off that debt.
No, there wasn't no billions there. It was trillions, bro.
He took out a lot of money out of our Social Security trust fund. But he said he was going to pay it back. We're going to pay this thing back into the trust fund. And we ain't seen a dime of it come back yet. Not one quarter. Now, in 85, I know I had paid into the Social Security trust fund. I had paid into it. For a long time, I had been paying into it with my money.
You've been paying into it ever since you started working at 16 or 15. What the
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I'm fighting for. They're in there, they're effing with my money that I'm supposed to be getting. The money that all the other folks put in there, they're effing with it.
Because the first thing you say when you look at your check, you say, what the hell is FICA?
FICA. What the hell is FICA? Look at it, took my money. I'm expecting the full check here.
What the hell is FICA? But the thing is, though, here's the thing, Ed. They got a limit that these people can pay into Social Security. There shouldn't be no limit. As long as your ass is making money and you done made $1 million, then they say the top thing is what?
140.
I forget what it was.
It's $145,000 or $175,000. Once you pass that, you ain't got to pay it.
But people making $600,000 and $800,000,
I know it.
$2 million now or more.
Some people are paying it off by February. Most of them, there's a whole bunch of folks and stuff that have paid theirs off since February. Theirs been paid off. It's done. Yeah. They ain't got to pay no more to it.
Yeah. And there you go. So they didn't raise that up. They should have rose that up a long time ago. But what happened was, and I'm going to just say this, you had millions of people, and I might be exaggerating on that, but I'm believing that it's millions of people that came over here and they worked for 4 or 5 years, and then they got a certain age and they start getting Social Security. Now they don't get as much as most people. They might get $400, $500, $600, but they can go back to their own country and they got them a nice little retirement payment.
If you are not a citizen in this country, Ted, you cannot get Social Security.
I'm talking about people that became citizens. Reagan let 3 million.
Well, now that's a different point. That's a different point. If they became citizens, yes, they get that money. But if they are undocumented or whatever, or they just came over here and worked, they can't get a dime. If they got a TTIN number, they can't get a dime. Anyway, final word, brother. We done reached the end here.
Well, I'm going to tell people, look up Thomas Sowell and listen to his bullshit for a few minutes. That's what I'm going to say. If you want to find out where all of this all of these other bootlickers came from, he is their example. Because he was writing columns in the LA Times, the New York Times, all over, spreading his bullshit, putting down black people. And that's their motto, that's their MO. Long as you put down black people, you're gonna make money and they're gonna want you on TV and all of that. There's a bunch of bootlickers running around here, and hey, you making your money, that's fine. But you gotta live with it. You gotta look at yourself in the face, in the mirror. And if money that important to you, your little new car and your nice little suits and all of that, that's fine. Ain't nobody dogging you for that, but I'm saying you got to live with yourself. And I'm gonna tell you, ain't gonna be no praise for you. Ain't gonna be no praise for you. Bootlickers, I'm gonna tell you, because we've always had them. Even when it was in slavery, we always had those bootlickers. Mr. Charlie, what's we gonna do? Mr. Charlie, our house burned down. Where we gonna live?
I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna send you a link to a site that that is relevant to what we talked about three shows ago, and that is the Ryan Coogler Sinners movie. And man, it is very interesting what they talked about, the symbolism that you were trying to explain to me and what went on and stuff into that movie and all the stimulus that happened.
I'm telling you, bro.
And there have been, in that thing, they brought up the Indians.
Yes.
Who came there.
Yes.
They came into this thing. And guess what? These Indians have now got out there and they down there in Mississippi, these Choctaw Indians in Mississippi, they done got to be on the news and everything. Now they done brought them on the news, everything. All those guys who rode on those horses and stuff and everything came from this village, this reservation where Choctaw Indians were at. They were original Indians. They were Choctaw Indians.
Yeah. I saw the tape.
And they showed them. They were sitting up there. Yes, we were proud, but they was only on there for just a little bit. But they done took this thing way, way, way off. And they got news people coming in there interviewing them, all kind of stuff going on. And I said, man, this is too much here. They enjoyed the movie. They said that Ryan Coogler them and his crew and everything treated them just like kings and stuff and everything. And they had a chance to present their customs and everything and stuff to them. And he took their advice and stuff as what these Indians and stuff and everything did and how they represented these. And I had no idea that they were part of this whole thing with these folks and stuff who were vampires was that there was a similar fireflies, and they used the fireflies and stuff in the movie, and I had no idea why the hell they doing this. Oh man, it was this guy, he went through this whole thing, all the symbolisms going on, all the rituals and stuff and everything from our past that we had brought from Africa and stuff over here to the United States. It was, man, I enjoyed the whole thing. Anyway, if you guys get a chance and stuff, look at it, the symbolism and stuff for the movie center. And now they got some out now about what the white folks thought about it. what their feelings and stuff about sinners and how that and what they thought about it.
Okay, somebody at my door, bro.
Okay, go ahead. Bye. We'll see y'all later.
All
Bye
right,
bye.
talk to you.
Bye.
Bye.